Yeah. What up, y'all?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. That's split. That's split.
Let's add a beat. Yeah. What's good? It's another one. Happy Monday. Shout out to the whole gang. I see my warriors are in the building. Red Velvet. Sharon, I see you. Mike MT Bikes, what's good? Serenity, what's good? Miss Ange, I see you. We got a good one for you tonight. I'm excited. Vicky London, what's up? Melissa, what's good? Hey. Vicky, I see you. What's that? Bonnie, what's good? Sharp two hands. Hey. What up? What up? The evening experience, I see you. LeBron 53, what it do? Coach Jess in the building. Hey. That's still got the tag in the back. Cha. Yeah. I know we up against the big dog tonight. Hey. Oh, that's Mike. What's up, Mike? I don't know where T at, man. What up, Cassandra? Steve, what's up? Welcome back, brother. Vita J. Hey. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I got the legendary Crush Forster in the building. It's gonna be a good one. Someone go tell D Nice we're on. Shout out to my brother D Nice who's rocking right now. He came on for 1 hour and he was on for 5 hours. I'm like, D. You know when D comes on, he takes all the bandwidth. Shout out to my brother D Nice. That 318 Apollo sold out show. Woo! That's gonna be crazy. He hasn't even announced one artist yet, and he sold out in 4 hours. Yeah. Shy's the limit. What's up? Diva to the max. What's up? Vita J, I see you. Al Bugs, what's good? Lori, how you doing? Let's go. Let's start that show. Let's go. Let's start that show. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Chad Elliott experience. Thank you guys for joining me. I know our brother D Nice is on, taking up all the bandwidth, all the excitement. We got to come on here and show out. Please, everybody share. Let them know where we at. Dosh, I see you. 12 Diva, what's up? But we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna dive deep. This is the perfect person at the perfect time for all of my health warriors who have started this health journey, this alkaline lifestyle. I think this is just what we need to help us get through to our next phase of our journey. So I'm looking forward to that. Coach Jess, where you at, Coach? Coach, are you in the building? I thought I saw you in the building, Coach. I thought I saw you in the building. Tell me you're in the building. I'm getting hat requests. Okay. That's what's up. The Magic Garden. Yeah, these are just like samples. Yeah. What's up, April? Shout out to April, my sister. I love you, April. Hold on. Let's see what we got going on. on.
Getting myself together over here.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
How is my sound?
Hey, Coach.
Because I was on a live earlier.
Coach is in the building.
It's not good, right?
Not good.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little crunchy sounding. Why is that? What's happening over there? Nah, you know what? Okay. Unplug whatever's into the phone and turn it and put it back in. Just try some things.
Better? Yeah? Okay.
That's better. I think so. Yeah. Hey. We can't start it without that theme music for Coach. Let them know what you're working with, Coach. Hey. Woo. Shout to Coach. Shout out to all my ladies, all my independent ladies. Making that MONEY. You don't need nothing from nobody. You just need that RESPECT. Hey. Woo. You're gonna need more than money to buy these women, y'all. These women is different. These health warriors are different. You heard? Let's go. We're gonna do the extended version tonight. Woo. She's got her own. Woo. Don't need a whack ass dude to show her what he got. She got her own. Let's go. Woo. That's right, ladies. Hold on to this one. Woo. Yeah. Shout out to all my incredible independent women.
Hold on.
Holding it down.
So that I can...
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can be a air horn.
Nicole said, she said, can you buy me some spelt flour though? Yeah, no doubt. You ain't got to really buy me no Birkin bags, but I'll take a bag of spelt flour. And chickpeas, that shit expensive. Do you know how much organic costs? Sometimes. For real. I know. Actor Cal, what up, my brother? These are just samples, man. Magic Garden hats are not officially ready yet. I'm still working on them.
I'm
you
great.
Like it?
I'm great.
Cool.
Yes.
What's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm excited about the show. I love how
you excited. We got a good show tonight.
From Crush Foster, because you're going to speak about the food side, but I am interested in the business side. Like, how did he get started? Why did he get started? How he continued to go, the pitfalls, the success. I want to hear it all. Not count the man's wallet. I think it's more about...
You want to count the man's wallet. I know.
It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. And it takes a lot to be a successful entrepreneur. The more we can get out of that employee mentality, we can truly live the life that we want.
True that.
And that's where I'm at.
True that. I like that. That's why you're here, Coach.
Different perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not interested in that as well, because I myself am an entrepreneur. I too am an entrepreneur. Oh man. How was your weekend?
Am I lower? Am I
You're
louder or
a
lower?
little lower,
Lower. Okay,
and
hold
it's still a
on. Hold
little
on. It
staticky,
is, right?
and
Right? What the heck?
yeah. Did you change your plugs or things that you plug
I
something in
didn't.
different, power outlet, something?
You know what? Hold on. Hold on. This was probably it. Let's see.
Shout out to my old barbers in the building. My man Cal. Y'all go follow Cool Cal. He's a he's a uh, he's an actor. He's a barber.
He's an
He's an
actor.
actor. It's really
What about
he really.
now? Hold on. What about now? I
You,
think it's gone.
you sound amazing. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. No, for real. Do I sound better?
100%. Is it
Yeah,
alkaline?
I know what it was.
Is it alkaline?
No, no, it wasn't.
No?
Dang it. My whole live before got messed up. The replay was horrible, but I still put it up there.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
so I had a really good weekend. I saw Bobby on Friday.
I saw you hanging out with Bobby Storm. That's what's up.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
what's up.
We had so much fun. We went out, and we went to Pergola, and we hung out with DJ Fade.
So you were two of my favorite people.
We didn't hang out with him, but he was
Well,
behind.
he was DJing.
He was DJing. We went to go say hello, and
yeah.
he was DMing me like, "Oh my God, Bobby's amazing. I know her voice."
Yeah.
And so, but her and I picked her up from where she was staying. We hung out all night. We had fun.
Good. Very good. Very
Lots
good.
of fun.
Pergola's a hot spot though. That's where Jermaine and I went when he was in town.
I mean, Pergola's it's a staple in New York for years.
Yeah. We had a good time there. It's always a good time in Pergolas. Definitely.
It really is. I mean, you cannot go there without a reservation. I mean, you can, but you're not sitting down.
I'm just saying,
No,
if you
I
know
mean,
somebody,
I'm just saying it in general.
If you know somebody, you might be able to. No, but yeah, you definitely gotta have your reservations and days in advance for sure. If you want to go Saturday, you better book Monday
or
the week before.
I don't know, but it's a very popular place. That's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely is. Definitely is. So
I hung out with Bobby on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the weekend I pretty much stayed home. Yeah, my son's in town from Florida, so we just hung out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I didn't do much myself.
Well, that isn't true.
I didn't do well. I mean, I didn't do really anything. I mean,
you went out.
You mean with Jermaine, or you mean? I mean, that was last week.
Too?
That was last week.
No, I'm talking you. But you went out this weekend.
Yes. Yeah.
And what did you do?
We had date night.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened this weekend. It was a big weekend.
Well, you fell off.
Oh yeah.
That part.
Yeah. That's
what I'm talking
about. Bad Chad.
Yeah.
It's just
you fell off for a little bit.
Yeah. Very bad.
Well, for one night.
Yeah. Wasn't good at all. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a pretty night at all. But
you ate some crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had the bubble guts. We all had the bubble guts.
That is funny.
It's snowing pretty hard here right now. I don't know. You getting any snow over there?
It is snowing. Just now, I just came in and it was snowing. Not hard, but yeah, it's coming down.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty
Not
serious over here.
Happy about that.
And then I had an eventful Sunday on my subscriber live. We had some fun over there.
Oh yeah. What happened?
You were there, Jess. What do you mean? Really?
So tell me all the juicy details. I wasn't there for the whole thing.
No, that's for the subscribers. But nonetheless, we had an announcement over there.
What was the announcement?
We have a new show that we're going to be launching on the subscriber side.
And when you say we, you do not mean you and I.
No, not you and I. No. Myself and Connie are doing something really special on the other side called Love on the Couch. That's going to be really cool. And I hope you guys come and check that out.
Love on the Couch. What is it going to be about? Love, obviously, but what?
Yeah. How if you don't love, you can hate. No.
Whoa.
No.
Hey, Dilly with a dot.
What up, Dilly with a dot? No, we're just we're gonna kind of take people through our journey because it was one of the roughest. And I think, focus on how we
Relationships and stuff.
on relationships, couple stuff, not so much couple stuff, and just being people, in relationships and learning about each other, learning about oneself, that kind of stuff. But it's gonna be really cool. I think those that are entertained or want to be entertained by that kind of information will definitely appreciate it, because much like I am unfiltered and transparent, that show will be that times two. So should be really cool. Really cool.
I think we all love a little relationship talk.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty dope. Dope. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into
Let's do it.
Show. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Ready.
Let's not waste another minute. Let's get on in it. I'm gonna give him a beat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I have joining us this evening the one and only, I think he might be related to me, Crush Foster. Yeah. My brother. How
What's
are
good?
you?
Good. Great, man. I feel fantastic.
Crush, please.
A little past my bedtime.
A little.
But
I'm sorry, and we are so thankful that you have decided to hang out with us this evening. We won't keep you too long, but just long enough. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. I'm feeling the show. I'm feeling the chemistry so far. You guys look fantastic.
Thank you. It's the alkaline. It's the alkaline diet. So just not over there, but she works out. She's still in good shape, and she's.
And I eat okay, but I'm just not alkaline all the time.
You
Yes.
look fantastic.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Crush, how are you? So I say
Good.
that we might be related because your last name is Foster, and my family tree name. I mean, my grandfather is a Foster as well. And
Okay.
and I'm gonna absolutely dive into figuring out if we are of some kin,
Sure.
because I think
Well, my family's originally from Barbados. So
Okay.
if you got Caribbean roots,
okay.
that could be a strong possibility.
Okay. Well, I got to check into that.
Chad's gonna make it up, even if it's not real.
Yeah. Even if it's not, we are related for sure. So again, just I am ecstatic that you said yes when I reached out to you, because I'm sure you get many of them, and I'm just happy that you said yes to us. And we have a whole community here that has followed this little guy's lead and trying to change some lives, because it changed my life 5 years ago. And it was the greatest thing that I've ever done. And like I said, I was able to share my story and encourage others to give it a try. And so many amazing stories are coming back. People are changing their lives, and putting away medicines and losing weight, and all the amazing things that happen with this journey. But there are some moments along this journey that we run into, some bumps in the road where we try to figure out, how, right? And how do we surpass these goals that we've already accomplished, right? How do we get to the next one? Because again, I don't know if I'm making an excuse, and maybe you can help me understand that, but I feel like it does get complicated, cooking every single day and trying to find something new to do. And, are there some other things that we should be looking at, and other ways to kind of,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, Crush, I think I would love for you to kind of dive into, I think, number one, you should probably introduce yourself to the room, but then also, can you dive into, because I think what I hear often from people that I've known and people that have been vegan for months and then or years and then switch back is that it's really tough to sustain it.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to the room and then kind of walk us through that process.
Well, I'm Crush Foster. Our company is A Healthy Crush. It's myself and my wife, Kelly Kilo. We've known each other for about 30 years. We're old childhood sweethearts. We used to live across the street from each other, talk on the phone until, our parents had to use the phone, and we would talk out the window because we were like, right there.
Right.
So we're best friends and longtime sweethearts that, finally got together and, pulled our lives together. We opened a cafe in Brooklyn in 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And we ran that for about 5 years. It was the juice craze. So, it was the pressed juices and juice cleanses and, vegan options. And we were doing that. And along the way, we realized that some of the things that we were consuming as vegans were still harming us. And it was funny. The way that I learned about Dr. Sebi was that we used to have this vegetable soup. And Ma'a, his wife at the time, or ex-wife at the time, they had just separated, was looking for places to eat, and she found us, and she was ordering the vegetable soup. So I made a vegetable soup because, I would make everything like on the spot. I didn't have like a heat table with, stuff pre-made. Like you order it, I started it and made it, and then it went out the door.
Served it, right.
So I sent her my soup, and she liked it, but next time she ordered the soup, she was like, it had a lot of carrots in it, and peas. Can you take those out? And then she was like, well, can you take out she's taking all the stuff out. And I'm like, okay, well, you want me to just send you broth? Like, what's wrong with carrots? What's wrong with peas? That's when I started to ask these questions. And her son, Sesa, he came in to pick up the food. And I started talking to him, and, he started going over a couple of things. And I'm like, man, I got to look into this Dr. Sebi thing because, we still suffer from inflammation. I still have joint pain, and we're vegan. We're drinking alkaline water. Like, what's the problem? And that's when I started to look into Dr. Sebi. My wife was suffering from leaky gut at the time. And again, we're vegans. We're eating the tofu. We're drinking the carrot juice. We're taking the wheatgrass shots, and we're like,
lettuce,
this is it. Like,
we're doing celery and all kinds of stuff. We're
doing all the right things. What could the problem be? But it's about good, better, best. And just to touch your point in terms of people saying that it's kind of tough to maintain. It would be kind of tough to maintain. This is not how we grew up. We grew up with, Little Debbie and Entenmann's, cakes and going to McDonald's, and, our parents like, I don't feel like cooking. We're just going to stop at the drive-through and, and you grab something. And, those things seem to be okay when you're coming up until you start to suffer from a few things. And you got, okay, let me eliminate a few things and see what's going on. And you start to learn that, that you could do better. And now in terms of sustaining it, a lot of times what we're used to will just call out to us. You're like, you're doing well and everything. And then you're out with some friends and, you smell some familiar smells. I call them geographical food cues. Like you get to a certain intersection. You get to a certain intersection. As soon as you see that intersection, like fault in the nostril, and you're like, Golden Crust. I'm nearby, I'm now you get that geographic food cue that says I'm close to, Silver Coast. I'm close to and one thing leads to another, and you don't realize it until you've already finished eating. And you're like, man, I don't really feel all that great. It was good, but I don't really feel that great. And continually, slowly separating yourself from those things will will make it easier. And one of the ways in which that I found, I'm just kind of shortcut into this, is using a sauna. A lot of cultures, Asian cultures, European cultures, Turkish bathhouses, folks go to the sauna and they sweat on a regular basis. And if we're living in the metropolis and it's cold and you don't get to sweat until spring, summertime, you go run some ball or, do a brisk walk, there's a lot of toxins that build up and you don't get to get them out. So my wife and I, we use a sauna tent in the morning. Every morning. We take a sauna tent for maybe 30 minutes and we sweat before you go into the shower, and then we go for our walk and then we start the day. So I think, a routine like that where you're expelling toxins on a constant basis daily, because what happens is we accumulate them faster than we can, get them out. If we kind of at least do a balance or, get more toxins out than we consume, eventually you don't have those cravings anymore. They start to get a little bit more manageable, where it's like, you know what? I didn't feel for anything sweet today. Or, you know what, I only ate once today and I haven't been hungry. You start to notice little things. And if you hone in on those cues, you can kind of build.
Is that why in the summer it's easier for me to stay on a certain, like, healthier diet than in the winter? I feel like, people always want
Yeah.
those comfort foods in the winter. Is that part of the reason?
I believe so, because in the summertime you got heat. You're warm.
Hmm.
The heat generates, you're burning more
Yeah.
calories. You're sweating out more toxins. Your digestion is a little bit more efficient in the
Hmm.
summertime, and then in the winter months, especially for those of us that live in places that get cold
Yeah.
in the winter months, your circulation slows down,
Yeah.
digestion slows
Yeah.
down. You don't have as much sun. It's dark in the morning and then
Yeah.
it's dark in the evening. You're not getting, a lot of the nutrients that come from the sun. So a lot of things
Yeah.
slow down, especially if you have melanin. There's a warm climate in the origin of what and who you are,
Right. Your
and
genome.
cold, that cold will, it'll wear on
Yeah.
you after a while. Luckily, if you're in a metropolis, it's only a few months, and then you can
Yeah.
get some summer again. But
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've been, without going deep into a rabbit hole, we've been stripped of our, natural environment. And, we should be during these times not doing as much anyway, right? We should really be,
yeah,
resting through these winter months and then,
yeah.
prepping ourselves and mentally, spiritually, physically for those, spring and summer months to come.
And then the food comes back.
And then,
Springtime, you start getting harvests
correct.
of getting
Yeah.
stuff in the summer, and then in close to like August, you start getting the
Right.
berries, and
Yeah.
and then it goes right back
And
into the cycle again.
what's so amazing about nature is that the foods that you really need during those times are the foods that are harvesting and during that
Right,
season, right?
right,
So, you're not going to get those watermelons and all that amazing stuff because for one, you're not supposed to really need it at this time of year anyway.
right,
And when you need it the
right.
most is when it's, when it's harvesting. So it's really interesting how.
There's another parallel to that too is for those who originate from certain climates, there's certain foods. Like Dr. Sebi used to talk about that a lot. So if you're like in the foods and the plants that grow up there are designed to heal folks that live up there.
Correct.
If you're down in the lowlands, like dandelions and stuff, that stuff is down here and it's made to heal the folks who live down there. And geographically, where you are, nature knows that that's what you need, and they grow it for you in that environment.
Yeah.
So
living the way we live now, we kind of get separated from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
my grandmother who lived in Puerto Rico for most of her life lived in the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
and she had like a small farm that she
Yeah.
would literally, she ate the chickens from there. She
Yeah.
ate, like, everything came from there.
Yeah.
And so she lived until she was over 100.
Oh wow.
And she was pretty much on her own well into her 90s. And I asked her one time, like, how do you do it? Like, because she would drive and she would party.
Mhm.
She would do, like, she was
Right.
I loved her. Anyway,
Yeah.
she said that she drank a shot of moonshine every single morning that she made herself.
That
But it was probably natural. It was organic.
She
look,
made it herself.
it'll make you sweat.
It'll
That's
make
for
you
sure.
sweat.
You get your sweat
So-
toxins out.
Right.
It'll speed up your digestion for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but she did live off the land, kind of, right? I mean, she went to the grocery store and stuff, but she made everything was as organic as I guess you can probably get. But to your point, she also worked in, like, she definitely, well, she was in Puerto Rico, right? So there's that part.
Right.
But she worked, she did her own gardening, she did everything on her own.
Yeah.
So is that part of it? Like, I'm trying to understand all of it here.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, I come from a family of butchers. My grandfather and my grandfather on my father's side, there was 12 of them, 12 brothers and sisters, and they had farms, chickens, hogs. I mean, and they were butchers. Right. They sold the meat, they cooked the meat, they killed the meat, they grew food. So I'm very familiar with the sustainability of it. I mean, at that time I was so young that, I was just basically doing chores, but, there is something to be said for folks that have lived off the land, but, eventually, depending on what it is that we're consuming, it will eventually accumulate if it's not meant for the affinity of the human body. So what I mean by that is that, say people, eat chicken, people eat beef, people eat meat, and what have you. The body is able to process about 10 to 12% of toxins super efficiently. No problem. You know, you could go and eat what you want, 10%. But the problem becomes that we accumulate more than we release.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
So
I
what would
try
what
not
would
to.
10 or 12% represent? Like what would that
Well,
represent?
it would be more like probably what your grandmother and my grandparents consumed, which was at the time would probably be a small portion of meat, and
Mm-hmm.
then like a big portion of vegetables, and then, you know, a medium portion of some sort of a starch or what have you. Lots of water, lots of tea. Hot tea in the morning is like, you know, in the
Hmm.
Caribbean, it's more of a British thing, but it's also a wake up in the morning and get your digestion going thing. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I would wake up and I'd be ready to go to school, and my mom, she'd be like, you know, how do you do that? How do you just get up and don't have anything hot in your stomach and you just head off? And I'm like, hot in your stomach? I don't want that
Right.
hot. I want, you know, I
It's
want
time to
soda.
go.
You know,
Right.
I want a Sprite. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and I want orange juice. You know, but the certain cultures know that something warm in your stomach to get your digestion going in the morning is the way to go. And then anything else that you put in there, you've got this fire going that you don't ever want to get too big and you don't ever want to get too small. If it's too small and you put food in there, you're going to put it out, and then your digestion is going to really have to crank in order to digest your food. If it's too big, you're just going to throw something in it, it's just going to eat it up. And, you know, you got one of those people with a fast metabolism where they don't get to really absorb anything. They stay skinny. They
Yeah.
don't feel like they're, you know, getting anything out of their food. So the balance is that's why they usually say, you know, small meals throughout the day so that you keep the fire at the same, you know, temperature the whole time so that you have even digestion instead of peaks and valleys.
Right.
And these are things that we don't get taught. It's
No.
trial and error. You're like, what's going on? Like, I can't get rid of this last 15 pounds, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my skin, I don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
that. And you start to really dissect what's going on.
Right. Okay. So let's get into the I can't say the meat of this. So let's get into the let's get into the I don't know. Let's get into the
Crush,
alkaline of this.
can I bother you for a second?
Sure.
We're wondering if you could just like take a little cloth and
Oh,
wipe your
it's my-
camera.
Yeah, is that what it
Yeah.
is? I'm like,
So
I look
they're-
cloudy.
He's a little cloudy.
Yeah.
He's a little cloudy.
They want to see you nice and clear.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm
See all that alkaline.
Is that better?
Oh, look at
There
there.
we go. Yes.
It's just
Look
a
at that
dirty
alkaline
phone,
skin.
that's all.
Them toxins. Those toxins. All right. So Crush, is Crush your first name?
My first name is Carl.
Okay. And
And
how'd you get a cool ass name as Crush? Because that's a cool
Crush
ass
came
name.
from, I was a b-boy, a graffiti artist.
I should have known.
We're talking a few lives ago, like a couple different lives. I'm not even that person anymore, really. But Crush stood for Crush stood for continue reaching until something happens.
Oh,
Corny as hell, but that was
Effective.
my little.
Actually, it's kind of deep when you think about it.
it's kind of
my-
exactly.
It's kind of deep.
It's kind of followed you throughout your life. I think. I think you've made it happen.
Something got
Yeah.
to break eventually, you know.
Eventually.
So,
Wow.
wait. They asked a good question in the chat. Do you wear deodorant?
Ah.
I don't wear. No,
Hello.
I don't wear deodorant. I don't. You know
Okay.
what? I don't wear deodorant. I don't even put key lime under my arms anymore. I don't do anything.
See, they would make fun of me, Crush.
Nobody was making fun of you.
Crush.
We just didn't believe you.
See, they
Look,
look.
we
They don't
we
believe
think
me.
he's
They
still
need
full of
more
toxins.
people.
We
No.
think he's still full of toxins. That's what it is.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I'm not wearing deodorant. I have not had deodorant on since January 3rd. I have not had deodorant on.
it's been quite a while. I don't own any. I mean, I probably have some somewhere under the sink, somewhere in the bathroom, but
Right.
you know, I don't have any that I use
Do you
to
smell
cap
good
out.
or do you smell like nothing?
Like nothing. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like, I haven't worn deodorant in a really long time, and I sweat every morning. I sweat out toxins every morning in the sauna.
Right.
And I jump in the shower, I get dressed, and that's it. I never put any on. I used to use key lime. I would cut the key lime in half. I'd give it a squeeze, and then Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it'd be fine all day long. Like maybe at the end of the day, I'd be like, all right, this key lime is giving out, But
Right.
still, that was
This key
years
lime's
ago.
giving
Right.
out.
But
It's been
that's years ago, right?
it's
That's
years
not
ago.
now. Right.
Yeah, that's not now. Now
Right.
I don't wear anything. And I didn't
Okay.
even think about it for a while until just now you just asked me. But yeah, no, I don't wear deodorant.
I'm trying to.
Okay, so do you brush
That's a
your
good
teeth?
question.
That was Panama Princess asked that question because Chad always says that he doesn't. He's not wearing deodorant anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, so D
I
Nice
think
is
we need
sending
it.
everybody
It's the
over.
result. It's the result of toxins that come out and then they settle on the outside of the skin and it just creates the odor. And,
Right.
So wait,
Okay.
when somebody is really stank, when they really smell horrible, we know their diet is horrible,
Often,
huh?
Of
what
course.
that is, the oil, whatever the grease, oils, and fats
Oh, well,
that are
you
in.
know,
So
but you're 100% correct. Have you ever been, or for people that go to the gym, like, and you're working out next to somebody and they just smell like fried grease?
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Where are we going right
That
now?
happens. That happens. Okay, that was it. You just
That's a
wanted to
whole
say that.
road.
But wait.
We can go down.
I have another question before we move on, Chad, because
Sure.
now we asked about the deodorant. Do you
Okay.
brush your teeth?
Yes.
Okay.
With
But
toothpaste?
what do you use?
Yeah.
What do you use for your teeth?
I use like Hello. What's the other one? Begins with the D. Or with the W. Vidalia. I'd have to go run and look at it right now.
Right.
But a natural toothpaste with no fluoride. I used to make my own with like coconut oil and some essential oils. I would put not peppermint oil. I would use tea tree oil, coconut oil. There was a time when I used to use Queen Afua's clay. Queen Afua's clay. I don't know what that clay was, but she had
it was
bomb
good.
clay. It wasn't just bentonite. Like she has like a mixture. I used to use that. But yeah, right now, like like I said, what is it? Dwala? I cannot remember the name. Wadelia? Someone knows.
Yeah,
I'm sure someone knows. Okay,
I'm sure.
So let me just recap because we have some people coming in the room and they're like, they said, wait a minute, he doesn't wear deodorant? No, he doesn't wear deodorant. No. He does not wear deodorant because he has an alkaline diet, but he does use toothpaste.
Yes.
He does use toothpaste. Hello toothpaste. I think you said it was, right? That's the easier one.
What's another one? What's the guy's name? Not Dan's. Josh. You see how easy it is to forget? It's right on the tip of my tongue.
If I wasn't thinking about it, I'd remember.
Yeah, if you weren't thinking about it, you would remember.
I just would have called it up. Yeah, I cannot remember. But
anyway,
yeah,
I got tired of making my own. I used to make the refrigerator. It was a whole thing. I was like,
it was a process.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, we got a couple of other questions. So let's get to those, and then we got to get back to the show. Okay.
I think we should hang on, but I think we should we have people coming in. It seems like Derek is sending people over.
Deborah Cox is in the building.
Auntie,
hi, Deborah Cox. Melba Moore is in the building. Hi, Auntie. Auntie. Yes. Crush, we got an all-star audience tonight, man.
Yeah,
all right. All right.
Why don't you go ahead and recap, bring us up to speed, Chad.
All right. So everybody who's joining us now, we have a special guest this evening. I was going to say Coach Crush Foster, the Alkaline Chef extraordinaire, world-renowned, my idol.
Ex-B-boy.
Ex-B-boy, graffiti artist. And now, an amazing health warrior as well, who's leading his own, forces to do good amongst the world. And we were basically just kind of recapping on, how he got here, his outlook on why this alkaline life is important. And we're just going to continue to get on into that. That's what we're going to do right now.
I think what's beautiful is that you mentioned you were vegan first and you have a shop with your wife and you were introduced to the alkaline lifestyle through Dr. Sebi's wife or ex-wife.
Right.
Which I think is crazy. She just
accidentally, indirectly, Like,
Shoot.
let me get some of that soup you make, and
Yeah.
then let me tell you exactly how I want you to make that
And she's
soup.
like, you're making it wrong.
No, take the carrots out, take the
Right,
peas out.
right.
I'm like, what's wrong with carrots? What's wrong with peas? And I just had to start doing some research.
Right.
And they were working long hours. They were always at the office, her old office at the time in Brooklyn.
Mhm.
And they were always in there doing consultation. And she was like, man, we got to get something to eat. I don't have time to cook anything. Let's look around. And they found us. And, she placed the order and
Right.
the rest was history.
So at what point did you really say enough is enough? Like, we can't do this anymore. We can only do it this way.
Love. My wife got sick. She had leaky gut.
Right.
She was, losing minerals, and Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide was kind of like a last ditch effort to us. It was like we were still in the restaurant. So
Right.
we were still cooking, tofu. We even had for customers who ate meat, we had like chicken breasts. At one point in the beginning, we were cooking shrimp. We got rid of that. We were doing the chicken, then we got rid of that, and we started losing customers because people were like, well, what happened to the chicken breast? What happened to the shrimp? We were like, we don't feel right,
Right.
doing that anymore. And it's
Right.
not a reflection of who we are. That would just be a restaurant thing. So we did that, and, business starts to slump a little bit, but then we started to grow the vegan community more. But then at the same time, she was still suffering.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, so what I'm going to do is at home, we're going to take this Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide list. I'm going to start throwing stuff out of the refrigerator and replacing it with things on this list, and little by little. And to me, being that I was a chef at the restaurant, at home, it felt like we used to watch a lot of Chopped and a lot of Iron
Right.
Chef. And, you get a pantry, you get these select things to
Right.
make things with.
You gotta
So
make it
to me,
happen.
it was like, all right, well, fine. We can't use that kind of pasta. We could use spelt pasta. I'm going to make a pasta Alfredo, and I'll make the sauce out of this. And it kind of took on a life of its own out of the love for my wife and, her not wanting to see her suffer.
Right.
I started getting really creative with the nutritional guide.
Okay.
And from there, she started feeling better. I started feeling better because I would wake up and my joints would be tight. Because I work with my hands all day.
Right.
I would wake up and I couldn't open my hands. They'd be like, and I'd have to like jar them open. And eventually,
crazy.
after drinking some water, I would loosen up and I'd be like, all right, I'm ready for the day. But every morning it would be that,
Right.
Eventually I wasn't having that anymore. And we were like, wow, this is great. Skin looking
Right.
good. We feeling better. Let's, share this with people. So I was in a group. I was in Dr. Sebi Who and What group.
Okay.
That's the Dr. Sebi Who and What group on Facebook was the very first Dr. Sebi group. That's the mother group of all.
Wow.
That was Dr. Sebi's online community. He didn't have an online community. It was just like people in LA, people like, near the offices.
Right.
But the people who really followed him were online, and they were from that group. And the group got
Wow.
so big and so prominent and succinct in his message that people would break off and do their own groups. And every other Dr. Sebi group came from that one group. So all of the big names, Sharon,
still around?
it is the Dr. Sebi Who and What group. It's called. The
who
groups on
runs-
Facebook are
I was
not
gonna
as
say,
active.
Who
and
runs
What?
that group now?
His name is Z Malachi. And he's a brother from, he's in North Carolina.
Okay.
And, it's probably up to about 60-something thousand people in that group
Wow.
still.
Wow.
But it's not,
Really?
like I said, it's not
It's
as
not
active as
active.
it was. The Facebook
Right.
groups have changed a
Yeah.
bit
Yes.
and
Yeah.
not as active as they once were. But that's where his whole community
Right.
was. So when things changed at his office and everything, and the online community kind of got a little disbanded, that's how things kind of died down. His whole community was
Right.
online. And in that group, so what I did was every day I would write down what we were eating, like a journal on a whiteboard on the refrigerator.
Mhm.
And so I would say at 10 o'clock we had this, at 11 o'clock, at noon, at whatever. And eventually that list became like our sort of manifesto. Like, this is what we do. This is how we, eat. And we wrote it out, typed it out. And I was in the group one day and I said, would anybody feel like they would benefit from, what we did and this list of things? Like, what would be of help to everybody? And I started posting some of what we were doing, and people were like, yo, compile that. I need that. Share it. I need that. And we then created a book.
Building the brand.
Yeah, we created a book called The Mucus-Free Food Detox.
Which
because that's what Dr.
someone just
Sebi's-
asked about. Someone just asked, when is that going to be available again? Because it says sold
we're-
out on the
we're-
website.
We're actually retooling
Okay.
it because it's the one that it is right now is from then, from
Right.
like 2014,
Right.
2015.
And
People are
things
still
changed.
looking for it.
But things
And
have
since
changed
then,
also.
things have changed.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that we update it. So we're working on that actually right now.
Okay.
It'll maybe a few more months before the next one is out. And people really took to it. Like the one post that I asked where I said, would people be interested in this? It had like 300 and something comments.
Right.
And I was like, babe, look at this. Like, folks, let's put this out and see, what happens. And we put it out. Eventually, the restaurant, we had some issues with the restaurant, with the landlord and gentrification in the area and people selling their stuff. And instead of looking for another restaurant, we just basically took everything and just went online and started creating books and, literature, herbs and so forth. And it took off from there,
Awesome.
And the rest is history. We're
So,
now
again,
with two websites and a number of social media pages. I do consultations and some coaching.
Right.
Just a small group of people, nothing like really big. I probably take on 5 or 6 people at a time, and of those 5 or 6 people, 2 of them I communicate with regularly and kind of help walk them through a system to kind of get them to where they feel like they're self-sufficient and can kind of move on, and they just tap back with me and we check in with each other, and nothing really heavy, really light.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get it.
You're coaching people through how to start cooking alkaline food, or what are you coaching them through exactly?
What I do is I run folks through a questionnaire so that I can figure out kind of what's going on and where you are. Most people have a question of some issue that they're dealing with, and they aren't sure why they're dealing with that or what exactly is going on. So usually what I suggest is to take a food sensitivity and mineral deficiency test. And, no blood or anything, just a hair sample.
Right.
And, we have a laboratory that we work with. And when you get your results back, it lists off over 900 different foods that you could possibly have either a food sensitivity to or a mineral deficiency that you may have, something you're lacking, and possible places to where you can get it. And when people are armed with that information, then we can have a more educated discussion, or they could take it to a physician or their doctor, or if they're dealing with, a medical practitioner, they could say, hey, look, these things don't agree with me. Some of them are in my diet. I should probably think about replacing them before I take this medication, or before I take your advice to do that. Let me do elimination diet and take these things out, see if I feel better. And 9 times out of 10, they do. It'll tell you, look, you need to stay away from basil. They're like, man, I eat basil all the time, and you take that out, and then it's just like, you know what? I feel better. I don't need to take that medication, or I don't need to, be so drastic. I just need to remove this thing, So
we're kind of like in that discovery stage with a lot of our health warriors as well, who are, we have one person who had migraines since they were 16 and, fasted, migraines went away. And then as they started to eat again, certain things would, set it off again. And I had them start journaling and figure out, come to find out, mangoes, right? Eating that mango, and the mango was starting to, do what it do. And I was like, listen, there are other compounds as well and other fruits that are similar to that. You kind of got to, check that out as well. And, but, definitely the mango was a culprit in all of this. But, it's unfortunate that, and I believe this, I believe that our bodies are just so out of whack, for lack of a better word, that, things that shouldn't be affecting us do affect us. Right. And, we have to heal our bodies, and then, over time, really, try to reintroduce some of these things later on and see how they affect, again, later on. And I think that a lot of people would be surprised that, as your body is healing, you may be able to do things that you couldn't do before. So, but, take your time with it. It's most of us here has spent a long time doing the wrong thing. So, and for us to just, take 6 months, a year, even 2 years to just give your body, the break it deserves to heal itself, because it's designed to do that. Like it's designed
we get in the way.
if you cut your hand, you're gonna sit there and watch in days, and
Yeah.
you're gonna see it heal.
Yeah.
The same thing happens on the inside.
Right. My
It's the same
wife
thing.
says the same thing. She says if you can if you can heal a cut, or you can if a bone can fuse back together after you broke it,
Absolutely.
Now
then
that's a fact.
that's what the body's supposed to do.
There's nothing you can't heal. And, there's certain systems in our body that we just completely disregard. Our lymphatic system, we kind of don't even think about it. But, it's important, right? It's like it's the drainage.
It's in between your, right? That protects everything on the inside. That
Absolutely.
that mucoid layer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once that gets broken, you're susceptible to all kinds of illness.
Kinds of things. And, even down to the kind of water that we're putting in our bodies, we don't understand that even, right? We think that all water is created equal. And the fact is it's not, especially when water is being created, by the chocolate factory, who owns who owns 9 or 10 of the 15 bottles available to you. Who, by law can say it's from a spring, but it's literally a pump in the ground. Well, that's
the chocolate factory, they make everything. So
they make everything. And they process everything.
Dog food, cat food, health bars, water, everything. Forget about it. Detergent.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Crush, okay.
I think that we should just say hello to everybody kind of coming in the room. It seems like
hey.
Derek sent everybody over from his live. So we want to say hello. And why don't we I think that for everybody in the room, like, we want to be healthier. We're not, alkaline seems like a lot to take on. Even vegan seems like a lot to take on. So could you tell us just like, if we do nothing, nothing, what's like 3 things that everybody should be thinking about or doing right away?
The first thing is drink more water. And if you can't drink a gallon of water a day, you should be drinking at least half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water at minimum daily, up to a gallon of water. And that will flush you out. And I know it's tough to drink a lot of water sometimes because
especially in
your
the
body
winter.
has to get used to it. Especially in the winter, your body has to get used to it. You got to try to drink room temperature water, and you'll go to the bathroom a lot, but eventually you won't go as much. The body will absorb that water and begin to use it, and you won't have to pee as often, and you start to get used to it. You'll feel more energy. Sometimes people drink coffee, they drink tea in the morning, energy drinks, what have you, to get that energy. But if you woke up in the morning and you had fruit in the morning, every morning for, say, 3-4 days, and you only drank water in the morning, you'll feel an energy that feels like you're on coffee. You'll be like, whoa, I feel good. I'm like, ready to go. The hydration will just get all in there and start circulating. And circulation is energy, because if you're eating the right foods and your body is circulating, you're going to move those minerals and nutrients around to the places where they're needed. They'll level to where they're supposed to go. You don't have to like target anything.
Correct.
But if you hydrate, you're definitely going to get more energy. That's the number one thing I would say, is definitely hydrate.
So number 1 is drink water.
Yes.
Somebody asked, is faucet water okay? I think it depends on the town and city you live in. But also, but you can answer that. You can answer that. But,
good luck.
Yeah, right. It's scary in some towns and
If
cities.
you're
But
in the Caribbean, maybe.
Okay,
they've got those aquifers, and the water, it goes through layers and layers of rock, and by the time it gets to the reservoir, you've got some of the cleanest water that known to man. But
tap water,
not New York, New Jersey,
no faucet water.
Listen, my faucet smells like chlorine right now.
It's tough. Yeah. It's really tough.
So drink water, at least a gallon, or how much your weight?
Half your body weight in ounces.
Half your body weight in ounces. Okay, so drink water.
That's the way I remember it.
It
makes it easy.
Cold water, is hot water better than cold water? Cold water better than hot water?
Well, cold water, once you drink cold water, then your body is going to have to regulate the temperature to get the water to your body temperature in order to absorb its nutrients. Temperature is very important in terms of absorption. Like you wouldn't want to give ice cold water to a plant. You know what I mean? Like the plant needs a certain water. Like if you ever grow like hydroponics or anything like that, people need the temperature to be a certain way. Same thing with the soil. Like if the water is going to come down and hit the soil at the temperature of the atmosphere. So if there's so much out of sync, one is going to have to compensate for the other, and the body kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
So really cold beverages, even though sometimes I like an ice cold beverage if it's hot. But
I was just going to say, Anita says in here, I love cold water. And I do too, especially if I'm like finishing a workout or if it's really hot outside.
But you're doing that because you're kind of self-regulating.
Right.
But if you just drink cold water and you're not hot, then your body is going to be like, all right, I need to, warm this water up before I can actually use it.
You know what?
And that takes energy.
I actually love room temperature water.
Yeah.
Like too. In general. But if I'm hot, then I want cold. So,
I'm going to add this again. All water is not created equal.
Right.
I'm just going to say that. If you do your research, there is a lot to it. And, you would be surprised, we just don't want to drink water and it just sits in our belly, right? It has to hydrate, right? Our cells, right? Mm-hmm. It's really what we're needing it to do. Yeah. Don't think of it as hydrating, your liver.
It can't just be wet.
Correct. Correct. And you would be surprised that certain bottled waters actually are too big, almost, for lack of a better word, right? Where really, really pure water. And I don't mean, when I say pure, I don't mean it says purified. I mean pure from the spring water, right?
Yeah, you should look at the source. You should look at the source.
Always look at the source.
They'll say reverse osmosis, or they'll say purified, or they'll say, alkalized, or they'll say, somehow enriched, or what have you. Right. You just want to kind of look for the spring. I mean, and even looking for the spring, like Poland Springs is from a spring, but you could drink that all day. You're not really going to get hydrated because it's not above neutral.
Correct. And one little thing about the Poland Spring, it literally, y'all, it's a pump that they put down into a well, and all it has to do, the stream of water that's underground that pump is connected to, it just has to touch a spring at some point.
And technically, they can say
it's coming from the source. It's spring water, and it is not.
Have you ever seen the source?
Yeah.
It's almost like a museum, like they have it encapsulated in a box.
Absolutely. It's crazy. It's crazy. So be mindful, but those are things that we're going to talk about on our show in the days to come as well, because I'm like obsessed with, good water now. I'm on this, water thing now, especially what's going on in our country when we look at what's happening in East Palestine, and that's going to be, what it is in the future.
It'll take some time.
That's going to be a real deal, and we're all going to be affected by some way, shape, or form. So
shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so do me a favor, because I'm always on my show, and I'm always telling everybody, you shouldn't eat this, and you shouldn't eat that, and you shouldn't eat this. Mm-hmm. I need you to do me a favor.
But he didn't give us the last three. I asked for three things. He gave us one, water.
Okay, I'm sorry.
One is water.
Yes.
The other is fruit. You should have fruit in the morning. That should be the first thing if you're going to eat something in the morning, it should be fruit, or a fruit smoothie is good, My thing about fruit, though, is like a lot of times folks are mixing the fruits and their vegetables. It's not so much that you shouldn't do that, but it's better for absorption if you eat fruit with fruit and vegetables with vegetables. Really? And I know a green juice doesn't necessarily taste yummy unless you put like some apple juice or something in it, But you really should get the pure greens in the flavor that they have. Bitter flavors are necessary. That's kind of one of the only ways that some of the secretions in the glands that cleanse our bodies are released. We don't always like bitter foods. We like sweet, we like, savory, and we stay away from bitter. If something is bitter, we compensate it. How do I take these dandelion greens? People always ask me, how do you make the dandelion green not taste bitter? I don't. I eat them bitter. I mix something else with it, some quinoa and a little sauce or something like that. But I try not to get rid of the bitter. You need bitter foods because they actually unlock the secretions and glands that will cleanse your body that you can't unlock any other way. Bitter foods are necessary.
Absolutely.
So that's another
watercress,
thing I would say.
Like watercress is one of those those bitters.
Watercress,
Yeah,
dandelion,
yeah.
culantro. A lot of folks are not
Culantro.
familiar
Yeah,
with
I
culantro.
just talked about that recently. Not
They think of
cilantro,
cilantro, right?
culantro.
Culantro. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So culantro
So
is another one. I like to mix those three: dandelion, watercress, and culantro. I
culantro.
put that through the juicer, and I'll make I may get 16 ounces of juice. The rest of it, I like take the pulp and I dry it, grind it into a powder, and I add that to sauces and foods and stuff, so I don't waste anything. But
Yeah,
yeah, I try
yeah.
to get all the greens that way.
Love it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jazz. I'll
Okay,
let you
so
finish.
number one,
Yes,
water.
water.
Everybody's asking, before we move on,
Yeah.
everyone's asking water suggestions.
Water
What kind of
suggestions.
water am I supposed to drink? Give me a couple of brands.
I like
I'll be back while you
Mountain.
tell me.
I like Mountain Valley. I like
Mountain Valley. Okay.
Yeah, I like Mountain Valley. I still like Crystal Geyser.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That
Um,
one's easy.
I like Crystal Geyser still, especially the gallon bottle. I do notice though, there's a difference in Crystal Geyser from the gallon bottle and from smaller bottles. I've tested the gallon bottle and it's alkaline, and then you test the smaller bottles and sometimes they're neutral or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't,
So the
and I don't know why
the big
that.
gallon bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why that difference is, but I try to use glass, but every once in a while I'll use a PET. It's got the little messages on it that say,
I was going to
"Bruh,
say
Drink
that's the
down.
best
bruh,
way.
you ain't really had enough yet.
Yes.
Keep it going. Come on, don't wuss out.
Because
Come on, make it happen."
like the
You know.
older people always tell me, "Oh, I drink so much water."
Yeah.
Unless we're measuring it, because I know I feel like I drink a lot of water, but when I measure it, that's when I truly am able to drink it. And I'll tell you, it is hard.
It is.
And I like water. It's
It is.
still hard for me to get to a gallon.
Yeah.
So
We should
Crush,
be measuring it. Sorry. Go ahead.
do you do you care about waters that are oxidizing or non-oxidizing or antioxidants? Is that something that you're concerned with when you're thinking about
really.
water?
Not really, no. I mostly try to get spring water where I can recognize the spring. Like if I can read it and say, it came from here, here, here,
Right.
and it doesn't have, reverse osmosis. It's not purified. They didn't put trace minerals in it, which
Right.
is just a chalky powder that dissolves into magnesium and calcium and what have you.
And gives you that taste that you're kind of used to.
Taste.
Yeah.
Give it that taste, or try to boost the pH just so they can have that number on the bottle.
Correct.
Which it doesn't really matter the pH of it more so than how the pH got that way.
Correct.
Because you can just put a mineral tablet in there. It's going to raise the pH, but what you put in there are oxide minerals and not natural minerals that the plant has then transformed to a liquid digestible form for
us.
Humans and animals, right?
Yeah.
Because iron is iron, but iron oxide, you're not going to absorb that. It's not going to assimilate. So iron pills, iron tablets, those synthetic minerals aren't really going to do it.
Yeah.
You got to get it from. You got to get it through the plant. The plant will reach into the ground. It's going to take the calcium, the magnesium, and then it's going to transform it. Then you eat the plant and you get it. You need that trifecta.
Yeah. And that's I'm constantly telling everybody, what you think you're getting when you eat that piece of meat, you're only getting what you can get the same thing. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you can that same protein that you believe you got from the meat, he actually got from the plant, and the plant got from the ground.
And then not only
go to that same plant.
He used most of it.
Yeah.
He got killed.
Eat it.
He died.
Right.
It started to decompose, and then you take it and get what little left of it, and
It's not, and then you're going to get some of that, a lot of that uric acid, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely,
uric. So.
Okay. So regular spring water, not alkaline water, not pH water, just regular spring water.
Here's what I'm doing right now.
That's what
This is where I'm at right now.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's where I'm at right now.
So that's number one. Drink your water.
Yes.
Okay. Number two is to eat fruit in the morning.
Fruit in the morning, yes.
And don't
fruit in the morning.
Mix it with
if you could get
else.
seeded grapes, if you can have mango, unless you have an issue with mango, like someone you were talking about before. Right. Seeded grapes, mango, even frozen fruit is okay, because frozen fruit a lot of times is frozen right when it's picked and then it goes off. Or fresh fruit a lot of times it goes in a truck, it goes to a hub. Then the hub, disperses it, and then it gets to the supermarket, goes in the back, and then they bring it out, and then they put it on the shelf, and then you buy it, and you put it in your fridge, stays in there for a few days. So the frozen fruit sometimes is fresher than,
Oh,
than
okay.
fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes, depends. Like, it's something to consider.
So what's number 3? If I'm not vegan, I'm not
So
alkaline, but I'm going to do 3 things that are going to make me better.
water,
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 fruit.
fruit. Do not avoid bitter foods. Do not avoid bitter. Try to get bitter in. I mean, it's kind of tough to say, I'm going to go eat something bitter because it's not.
That
It's not
doesn't
tasty.
sound like
But
fun.
but try not to avoid it because if you recognize that those bitter foods are releasing something that you need released that will not be released any other way, then that's what you got to do. Because when people say, "Oh, I need to detox, I need to fast," what's the first thing we do? We give them some bitter teas and tell them make these compounds, some yellow dock and some cascara sagrada, and they're like, "Oh my God, it tastes horrible," but it cleanses you out. You're going. Everything's out. You're like, whew, starting to feel better. Man, I really had to go. Well, if you really had to go, that means that there was a lot that needed to come
Come
out.
out.
And the only way that it was going to come out was if if you drank those bitter teas, those bitter foods, you fasted. Like if you go to Usha Village, really, the reason why Usha Village and Dr. Sebi's village was so successful was because, first of all, they locked the gates. You can't go out and get no food nowhere else.
Right.
You only get to eat in the morning, and in the morning they give you fruit and bitter teas, a namu and a guinea hen weed and that kind of stuff.
Oh, the guinea hen, yeah.
Lunch, you go and you get some fruit. You may get a little bit of like a chickpea fritter that they deep fried or whatever, just so that you could have that sustenance or what have you. But other than that, you only eat twice a day. You sweat. You eat the compounds, and you don't have access to any outside food. If you could do that at home, you wouldn't need to fly to Honduras. You get in your sauna tent, you drink your water, you drink your teas, you stay with your fruit, you try to fast and stay away from your friends that want to go to, Chili's or, wherever it is, TGI Fridays or whatever it is they want to do.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah. And you just stay the path long enough, you'll start to feel better.
Yeah.
It's usually what the thing that makes us go back is something that, not even the medical industry will admit, and that's food addiction. If you look up food addiction, there is no such thing. They don't have, it's not registered as an addiction. It's registered as binge eating.
Right.
Yeah. Which
is
different.
More psychological. They try to put it on the
Emotional.
psyche than
it's your fault.
That your body is actually dependent on this shit now, right?
Yeah. You're not addicted to sugar, which is actually more addictive than cocaine. It's your fault. You're just greedy. That's what they want you to think.
Correct.
But it really is addiction, and those are the things that make us work against our own self-interest, even though we know better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I could talk forever, so sometimes I got to just stop so you can ask me something else because I'll just
no.
And Chad's gonna
First
be
of all,
upset if I ask you another question. So
I mean, Jess never has as many questions as she does at night, so I don't. Go ahead, Jess. I mean, what else you want to ask?
I have another one if you're going to let me pipe in here. Okay, so when it comes to fasting, someone in the chat asked a very good question.
Yeah.
Should women fast different than men, or is it just the same?
It depends. It really depends on, well, yes, it's the same. It is the same, but it really depends on some of the nuances for why you might be fasting, because women have different needs than men. Women are hormonally more intricate, whereas men, I could pull a dirty rag from under the car seat, wipe my face with it. My skin looks great. And my wife hates that. She's like, you don't even wash your face. You don't, you get up and look at it. You get your skin. It looks great. I got a routine. I got to put the moisturizer, got my scrubs, all of this stuff. And, so hormonally, testosterone, makes your skin, have a little bit more elasticity and push out toxins a little bit more. So for women, I think that the only difference in fasting is that women should be mindful of hormonal balance.
Yeah, this is a very sensitive topic. This is a very sensitive topic, Crush.
Yeah.
There are a lot of mixed opinions about this. I'm on the side of there are. Yes, there are. I mean,
I didn't know this. I didn't know I was opening up a can of worms here.
A little bit, definitely. But I agree with him. I think that yes, you have to deal with women and their their hormonal issues, But I believe that when you start, you start. And you don't have to wait for your cycle and those.
Oh, no.
No,
Yeah. No, in
Yeah.
that
that's not
sense.
what I understood from
Oh,
what he
okay.
was saying. I understood from what Crush was saying that like literally hormonally, like it has nothing to do with the cycle, but women just have more complex
But your
hormones.
hormones are affected by your cycle as well, right?
Right, but just in life, like I have hormones going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
Well, all women do, right? And men
Yeah.
do too, but we're
Yeah.
we're more complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's a
their
little bit.
hormones
It's
are
a
more
little bit.
simple.
It's a little bit more complex, and hormone disruptors are things that affect women a lot more severe
Mhm.
than men. And hormone disruptors would be things like aluminum deodorant, like
Yeah.
nail salon chemicals, like certain skin creams, caffeine, foreign hormones from chicken, meat, the things that they inject into the animal
I mean,
products.
Chad,
Uh,
we carry people inside of us. We
Oh,
are way more
alcohol,
complex.
fermented
Don't get me started.
foods, sugar. Those are things that affect hormones in women a lot more severely than men.
Yeah.
So,
correct. Okay, can I ask a question now?
sure.
Okay.
Permission granted. Permission granted.
Thanks, Coach. All right. So look, let's get back into food. Okay.
Sure.
I need people to understand why some of these hybrid foods, such as pineapples,
Oh, man.
carrots,
Oh,
things that we are used to eating and we love to. I say it all the time, but I don't want to be that guy tonight. I'm gonna put that weight on you tonight, Crush. Okay.
well,
I need you to please explain to this audience what is
carrots are
going on with this
really,
food.
really, really high in sugar. I mean, Dr. Sebi used to talk about it a lot, how it's a cross between the Queen Anne's lace and the wild yam, and they put the two together, and you've got this starch sugar compound in them that just raises your sugar, and it cancels out what beta carotene that you think you're getting from it. You'd be better off with a butternut squash. This is as much beta carotene without the compromise there, or an acorn squash. There's as much beta carotene there without the compromise, and that's God made
And don't they taste similar?
They do taste
similar? I feel like butternut squash is
Butternut
better.
squash is very sweet.
You
and
could
yummy.
literally take a kabocha squash or a butternut squash, grater it, and make carrot cake. And nobody would know
the
that you didn't
butternut
use
squash
carrots.
tastes better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a kabocha squash is even sweeter. Kind of tastes more like sweet potato.
Is that the one with the lines in it?
It's the big green one. It looks like a big green pumpkin.
Right. Okay. Got it. Yeah, that's yummy. That's
It tastes like sweet potato. I've made sweet potato pie, candy yams, faux candy yams. And folks don't tell the difference. You can't tell. You cut them right, you don't know whether that's potato.
Okay, so let's go down the line a little bit. Why should we stay away from sweet potatoes and Idaho potatoes?
Super starchy. A lot of starch, a lot of calcium carbonate that's going to get stuck to your teeth, that's going to line your intestines and create a plaque that then the layers just grow and grow and grow, and then you get this small space that you're trying to get stuff through, and getting through that small space is raising your blood pressure, it's slowing down your circulation, it's hindering your mobility, your joints start to hurt, and once you get rid of those things, a lot of those things start to go away, and but because of what you're used to, you go back to it and those things come back, and you make the correlation eventually. Hopefully it doesn't become too late to make that correlation, because some people are kind of far along, and there's more of a sense of urgency for some people than others. Some people will be like, I can do whatever, but some folks just really need to stop, like right now, like yesterday. So potatoes and yams, that high starchy stuff is the reason why joints start to hurt and circulation starts to slow down and blood pressure starts to raise.
Now, you do subscribe that these things are hybrids as well, right? These are not indigenous to.
No, they're not.
God, the universe, Mother Nature did not create these things. Okay,
they're not. No. And one thing,
hang on,
I would like to touch on just a little bit is the difference between veganism and the African biomineral balance. I know a lot of folks, they call themselves alkaline vegan and that kind of thing. Dr. Sebi never used the word vegan. He never called himself vegan. And
I hate when I see it.
the vegan community never accepted Dr. Sebi.
Yeah.
They did not accept him
Yeah.
because he was going against the hybrids and the carrots and the green juices, the
Absolutely.
water, the wheatgrass juices and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that distinction is important because veganism is a animal rights activism movement. It is not about health.
Right.
You'll go to a vegan restaurant that has a bar. You get, all kinds of, it's not necessarily about health. It's about animal activism, which is a noble cause, mind you.
Yeah.
Don't, because they'll jump all over me and be like, you're all about the animals. I understand that. But, in our community, Auntie doesn't really have the luxury of loving the animals before herself. She got to deal with this high blood pressure. She got to deal with, poor circulation, the joints are hurt and that kind of thing. So it's more focused on human well-being than on animal well-being. Absolutely. And I think that distinction needs to be made because when you try to make it, the animal rights activists really get upset and the discussion can't be had anymore. They'll shut you down.
Shut it down.
Where it's like, but the animals are dying when really there needs to be legislation passed by vegans for sentient beings, if that's really the movement, because you've got slaughterhouses that are breeding these animals. Chickens, the wild fowl, you won't find them. You won't find a chicken in the wild. You won't find, the bovine cow in the wild. Mm-hmm. They would be prey. They would be, they would be wiped out. And they wouldn't be able to survive. They're only surviving because man is creating them for food. So if you could stop man from creating them as food, but if you stop that, then there wouldn't be any animal rights activist movement. So that is necessary in order to make that movement necessary. And I think that if that distinction is made, people will be free to focus on humans and it be okay. And you don't be, you don't get hammered for it. That's what.
Okay, let's talk about a couple other things.
So vegans, don't get mad at me. There's just,
No.
Wait,
as you said, good, better, and best, right?
Good, better, best. Never let it rest until my good is better and my better best.
There it is.
Love it.
There it is.
Mom said.
I love it. I love it. But Anita had a question in the chat. She said she was wondering if you could suggest, or do you have a book that people can buy that will help me align with exactly what Dr. Sebi wants us to eat? Because she said there's a lot of books out there with wrong information.
There is, because I think one of the tipping points was when Nipsey Hussle got killed, and he was going to do the documentary. It breathed new life into the alkaline movement, and a whole bunch of books started coming out on Amazon saying that they're breaking down Dr. Sebi's methods, and a lot of times they're not. Mucus-free food detox is like a foundation. I mean, the download is still available, but the paperback is not.
That's your book.
That's our book, but we really want to do it over, which is why we haven't printed more copies and kept putting it out, because there's a few things in there that we think need to change.
Right.
But today the download is available, so maybe they can just.
Today the download is available.
Where do they find the download?
You can go to alkalineeclecticherbs.com. That's well, I can't type it right now, but yeah, alkalineeclecticherbs.com. If you go to my bio, the link is in my bio.
Yeah. There you go.
And all of my my link tree has everything there.
I used to go there frequently to be disappointed by the book not being available. Sorry, Crush.
But you do have a super fan here, Crush. Chad is your super fan.
Yeah, I am a super fan.
Very much, sir. I appreciate it.
That's for certain. Okay, can we keep going now, Jess? It's okay. Okay, so a couple of more food, because again, what I struggle with the most is the misconception that our audience and our people have in general about what they're eating, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want people to believe, well, I don't eat bad. No, you don't know what you're eating. Now, again, for that, I'm okay with. Yeah. But when you know better, you got to do better.
Yeah, do better, right? Yeah.
So when we have these sorts of conversations and we have, someone who is as knowledgeable as you, it is important that we reiterate as much as we can that the diet that we have been given, the foods that we have been told are good for us, have been destroying us for the most part. And, it's unfortunate and they're when you look at the nutrition list, you're gonna say, "Is this it? Why is this it?" Right? And like you said, you have to find ways to make this work, right? And we want to get to that before we get out of here. We got to find out what this balance is, and if there is a balance, or you just got to do what you got to do. Right?
Well, one of the things that I say to that when I get a question about that is that the nutritional guide has about 100 foods on it. And if you think about it, you know, let's say you get up in the morning and you have, I don't know, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. Right. And then you go to lunch and you have, you know, chicken nuggets, and then you go home and you have chicken. 2 of your meals were chicken. Correct. One of your meals, you know, you only ate 3 things today. There's 100 things on the nutritional guide.
Right, right.
Most people only stay, you know, towards, you know, 3 or 4 different things that they eat, when you could really expand if you use the nutritional guide to try and look at ways to, and I know it's tricky. For myself, it was basically out of necessity because, you know, my loved one was sick. So I was kind of thrust into it. Love will make you it'll make you, you know, move mountains.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was blessed in that way to be thrust into something and have to really focus on it in order to make it work. But, you know, I try to warn folks, don't wait until it's necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes that necessity will make it so that you can be too far gone in order to get back to a semblance of normalcy.
Yeah.
And then your life has changed forever. One of the things that you don't want to do is have something so much that one day someone tells you, you know what, you had this so much, you can never have it again. You know what I mean? Like your doctor will tell you, you know, Mr. Jones, you can't have, you know, oxtails anymore. You eat oxtail all the time. You know what I mean? You can never have it again. To someone who's attached to something like that, they're gonna be like, man, I can't never have it again. Well, forget that. I don't have. It's not worth living if I can't have what I want. And now you're really compromised now, because now it's like you're choosing.
When you think about this is like a deeper. We're talking about food here and everything, but when you think about it, there's smokers that feel that way. And we've known that that's bad for you for eons. So I think it's definitely us being less attached to things that are not good for us. But someone said in here, which probably is like 1 or 0 when I asked you for the 3 things that they should do.
Yeah.
I think somebody said in here that they weren't paying attention to what they were eating. So that's probably the very, very first thing that people need to start doing is start paying attention.
Eating consciously.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Ty's Conscious Kitchen. Shout out to Ty's Conscious Kitchen. I know you guys, anybody in the Alkaline community are familiar with Ty. He's one of the OGs.
Absolutely.
Conscious eating. You have to eat consciously. You got to kind of, you know, be aware. You know, a lot of times if I'll go shopping, my wife will stay in the car because she knows I'm going to be reading labels. Like I'll be finding new ingredients.
Let me put this audio
you know,
on.
She's like, you go ahead. I just, you know, grab me some cucumbers or something. But
right.
You go in by yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Because the chat's going crazy. People love tomatoes. Are tomatoes good or not? The chat's going crazy about tomatoes.
Cherry and Roma. Roma/plum. That's the same tomato. Yeah. And cherry tomatoes, if you can find them. Okay. I stay away from grape. I stay away from beef steak. I stay away from the hybrid tomatoes. But cherry tomatoes and plum tomatoes. In Barbados, when I was a kid, we used to play marbles with cherry tomatoes. They would grow through the fence on the streets and, you know, naturally. And you could just grab them and, you know, pitch them.
Right. All right. So let me ask you this. We got to keep it real over here.
Yeah.
Do you eat seafood?
No.
You don't touch it at all?
Nope.
You used to eat seafood?
I did, yeah. I used to be a big seafood fan. I was like seafood guy. When I was in,
he wanted you to make him feel better.
Crush.
He wanted you to make him feel better.
Wait, Crush. Let me just say, Crush. Hold on.
He wants you to be on
Crush.
his side. No, he said he doesn't eat seafood.
Wait a minute, Jess.
He said he doesn't eat seafood. Sit back.
Jess. Let me just ask him. Okay, Crush.
Yes.
Not even salmon?
No.
He said
no. If it were, it wouldn't be salmon. That'd be
the last thing he
That'd be the last
thing. That would be the last thing.
Wait, Crush. Are you telling me? Go ahead.
There was a time where like that was the big thing, but they've done so much to it.
No, you're right. I mean, it's like tilapia. It's like
Oh,
tilapia now, right?
man.
And believe it or not, tilapia was like one of the ancient fish from,
Yeah.
thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you don't even know if you're never going to get a real tilapia ever.
Never
You can
again.
forget about
Nope.
it. Okay, so let me ask you this. Are you telling me right now, you go back to Barbados
Yes.
and they're cooking like some coconut fish and coconut rice?
Well, the thing about it is when I go back to Barbados, now,
Yeah.
everybody knows. Like when I come, they already know like what I'm gonna want to eat. They have everything for me. They don't want me to
Chad,
feel away or
how
what
many
have you.
languages do you want him to tell you? The answer is no.
That's-
He doesn't
no.
eat it.
When I
All right, I
when
needed
I
to hear it. I needed to hear
Wait,
it.
when I
question.
walk
I have a
in,
question.
yeah,
Sorry, I have a question. So
okay,
if you said if it was fish, it wouldn't be salmon. So
yeah,
what if you were to eat
it
fish?
would probably be like flying fish,
Mm,
which
it's hard to
you're not
catch.
getting that nowhere but in Barbados
Yeah.
or Trinidad or in the Caribbean somewhere, or snapper, which I was never big in a
Snapper.
snapper fan when I was younger.
Neither am I.
That wasn't until like I got older or whatever. That was one of Dr. Sabi's favorite foods,
Yeah.
fishes
Oh,
was the snapper. He was
he
a
loved the
big
snapper.
snapper guy.
Okay, can I just say this one thing? I
Yes.
was on an island, and I can't say what island it was.
Uh-huh.
I was on an island, and my son and I were jet skiing on this island. And I'm flying through the water, and we're having a great time. And
Yeah.
I stopped to look to see where he was at. And when I stopped to look, I saw something jump out the water and fly across the water and then
Yeah.
jump back in the water.
Yeah.
And it was like off the corner of my eye,
Mhm.
and I completely knew that what I saw could not have been real.
Right.
There's no way on earth what I think I saw.
It was avoiding a predator. That's what they do.
It
They
was
jump out and they'll take off and they'll glide and go back into the water.
this is a flying fish.
Yeah.
I did not know this was a real thing until that moment. And I asked my son, I said, son, did you
Derek
just
said, "Were you jet skiing in City Island or was it Staten Island?"
No, D-Nice. No, we were on an island off the coast
You weren't on no island.
somewhere.
He was in Staten Island.
Crush. When I saw that thing come up out the water, I just could not believe that what I saw was real. And I literally got back to shore. I started asking questions. I started looking it up,
Yeah.
and it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah. And they're not big. They're only about this big, man. This is a big one. This is a big one.
I was crazy. I could not believe there is a fish that comes up out of water and flies. I mean, graces the top of that thing.
Yeah, they glide.
Ooh,
Yeah, they avoid
man.
predators that way. They'll jump right out, take off, and land in the water someplace else and get away.
So that means there was something else bigger in the water.
There was something after.
That's really what that was.
Yep.
Damn.
What
And I
that-
had my feet dangling and shit. Wow. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So, so you're cooking all the time.
all the time. Just basically. Well, I do a lot of prep, so sometimes it's not cooking.
Right.
I prep up and I stack up. I have fonio, quinoa, chickpeas. I'll do oyster mushrooms. I'll do some burro banana mash. I'll do some kabocha squash mash or kabocha squash cubes, and then I'm just able to take things and put them together so that we can just cook something and then be out. And if I make something somewhat intricate, it'll be something that just goes with those things.
Gotcha.
Meal prep is key.
Yeah, prep.
Meal prep is
Prep
key.
is definitely
And you've come up with a system that works for you.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you share that? Have you shared that
Well,
system?
Well, yes. There's one of our books was called Food Prep.
Okay.
Where it's funny, we're redoing that one right now,
Mm-hmm.
like as we speak, like every day we've been working on it. So that should be done soon. Food Prep, and one that I just recently released is called Giving Thanks Meal Prep.
Oh my God.
Which is Giving Thanks Meal Prep was for the holidays. And basically what I did is I did a video for every one of those recipes. So I did cornbread, I did, the oyster mushroom brisket, I did this burro banana mash. I did a whole bunch of stuff. And for each thing, I did a video for each. Because people were like, okay, I got the recipe, but how do you do this? How do you do that?
Right.
So I provide the recipe and a video for each recipe and giving
Yeah,
thanks. And it's
those are
not just for the
fascinating.
holidays; it's for whenever
Correct.
potlucks, game night, whatever.
Right. Now, this is alkaline cornbread we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
So
Okay.
I'm using camel flour. Camel
Okay.
flour is very similar to corn. You probably wouldn't be able to tell.
So
Right.
like it tastes, you think it
It
tastes
tastes.
like corn? People say it
It,
tastes like
it
cornbread.
looks and tastes like cornbread. Oh yeah,
Now, something to
absolutely.
keep in mind about spelt flour and kamut is that they do have natural
They
gluten in it. So if you do have
do have.
any gluten sensitivities, and you might want
Yes.
to stay away
You would
from those things.
want to use. You would want to use garbanzo, and I like to mix garbanzo and teff
Tough
because
together,
teff is a little more brittle, garbanzo is a little softer, and when
softer.
you put the two together, they really gel really well. And I like the water that you had at the Mountain
Mountain
Valley
Valley,
was the
the
sparkling water.
sparkling.
I
Yeah,
use that as the
yeah.
riser for baked goods instead of
Explain
yeast.
to people, if you can,
Yeah.
how the sparkling water, has that effect on, and
So
what is
it
it actually doing
serves as
to
like a
the
yeast,
flour?
Well,
like it helps.
what it's doing is you pour the sparkling water in, and when you mix it, the bubbles from the sparkling water, it's almost like if you it's almost like if you drank a milkshake and then followed it with ginger ale.
Mm.
So you got the bubbles trying to force their way through the milkshake, and you can't burp, and your baked good is getting bloated, so
Right,
the air is trying to force its way out, and the batter is stopping it from forcing its way out. So basically what it's going to do is going to push the batter,
right,
and then when the batter bakes and hardens, it hardens and bakes in that rise position,
right.
and
Yeah,
the bubbles eventually will dissipate on the inside, but you've got that rise from it. So
right,
you add a little bit of oil in there, and the heat on the inside is going to push the air out, and it's going to push the baked good up, and it's going to stick in that rose position after it bakes.
right.
And that's kind of how you do it without yeast, because that's all it's doing is creating air pockets inside and pushing it out. It's just that yeast will continue creating those air pockets and that fermentation inside of you,
Yeah,
whereas the sparkling waters,
it's
its job is
harmless.
done. I mean,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is one big one. This is one big one, and I don't know. We might lose everybody we got in here right
Oh
now as
boy.
we talk about this.
Oh boy.
Beans.
Garbanzo.
Okay. Okay, but let's talk about all those other beans that everyone loves.
He said
Those
garbanzo. That's it.
those
That's his
navy
answer.
beans,
Starch.
those red beans, those
Starch.
black beans, those
Starch.
black eyed peas.
When they're cooked and you squeeze them, that mashed potato type substance in there, that's starch. That's calcium carbonate. That's the stuff. That's the same stuff that's going to get stuck in the intestines from the potato and from the yams. It's the same thing. It's that starchiness. All beans were made. They were all created,
So no
except for the
lentils,
garbanzo bean.
Right.
no
Lentils
lentils,
too. Lentils
no
too.
nothing.
Lentils
Only
as well.
chickpeas.
Yeah.
Only
High in
chickpeas, which garbanzo beans, chickpeas, same thing.
I believe his name was Gregor Mendel, and he was a Benedictine priest that created the bean. And I remember hearing Dr. Sebi saying that, and me looking him up, and it was
yeah.
true. The dude created
Created it.
created the bean, and then eventually they created different beans and different peas
Yeah.
and bean-like substances. A lot of times those things were like, especially in the Caribbean, a lot of those foods are slave foods. So take breadfruit, for instance. You throw a breadfruit seed in the ground, a tree pops up, you get hundreds of those things. And they're like, okay, we keep the slaves away from the cash crop that we use to make money, the tobacco and the cotton and all,
Yeah.
and the foods and everything. And we give them this that grows abundantly so they could continue to eat, but it's full of starch.
Right.
It's going to rot in your teeth. It's going to make you, your joints hurt. It's going to make you fast. It's going to raise your high blood pressure.
That's
But,
right.
it grows abundantly. So it was like, yams, akis, all of these things are made foods that were made so that the slaves would have their food and the cash crop stayed like something that you didn't actually have to feed the slaves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
still slave food, even though it's not soul food necessarily, but it was still made for the consumption of people who you didn't necessarily want consuming what you had to sell.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, man, but these things are and have been detrimental to us as a community for a very long time.
Yeah.
And unless we, take this information and really apply it to our life and, our generations to follow, we're going to continue to suffer, because this stuff just, it's just not affecting your body. It's affecting your mind as well.
Yes.
And
One of the things I recognized too was that, there was a time where I was all about the nutritional guide so strictly that I was like, you can't eat that. You gotta, you're eating garbage. And, I had to pull
it's
back,
rough.
yeah, it's tough because folks are fighting, like we said, they're fighting addiction. You can't just tell people to turn things off. You have to be able to guide. So if you go to, my wife and I built another site. This is our not-for-profit site, which is kind of like the counterpart to, if you ever go to vegan.org, the vegans have their site where they explain veganism and they're matched with PETA and, all that stuff. We have alkalineeclectic.com. And
Okay.
alkalineeclectic.com is an homage to the eclectics. Eclectic medicine was plant-based medicine before Carnegie and Rockefeller basically took over the medical system.
Right.
And it was all about herbs. And so the eclectic medicinal practitioners were basically phased out by the new system of the medical industry.
Yeah.
And so it's an homage to the eclectics. It's alkaline because of Dr. Sebi. It's eclectic because he's like, something went wrong. Where did we go wrong? Well, that's where we went wrong. The eclectics were phased out. We phased into. So alkalineeclectic.com is the site where we break down basically 3 phases. You have you have level 1, 2, and 3, and you start off at level 1 where maybe you do eat meat, but you drink more water. You implement these things. Maybe level 2 is okay. You're not really eating meat, but you still have like sugar and those kinds of things, but you're doing better. And then when you get to level 3, you're following Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide as closely as you possibly can to supplement any of the damaged foods that you could be eating. So we give people these levels that you can take where, being alkaline eclectic doesn't mean you only eat alkaline. It means that you're on a journey trying to do good, better, best.
Get to that ultimate,
So we have to like rethink, the way that we, talk to people about it. And we can't you can't look down on people and alienate people. We all came from basically the same diets in our community, and everyone's always not going to be at the same exact level, but the intent, everyone wants to feel better, everyone wants to be healthier, they want good skin, they want mobility, they don't want to be in pain, they don't want a doctor telling them what to do, and they don't want to have to take a medication because medications don't cure anything, or else you wouldn't have to refill the prescription all the time. So giving them people some steps at alkalineeclectic.com is what we try to do.
Love it.
That's a great message, because I think that when we learn something new, even when you think about like spiritual people, when they learn something new, all they want to do is give people the information. And it's almost like it's hard for people to receive it when we're like just forcing it on other people versus just giving them the information and knowing that it'll resonate when it's supposed to.
Right. Yeah, that's true. In due time, everyone has their own time.
People have been asking a couple of questions here. Sure. Number 1, they ask if you use a microwave. I'm assuming you don't, because I don't even use a microwave.
I'm sure he does.
One came with my with my place, but I don't even use it for storage. I forgot all about it. I forgot we have one. It's up there.
My kids don't even use the microwave anymore.
I thought about removing it, but you can't remove it because it's part of the range. And I would have to then buy like a convection oven that fits the same spot and find the brand. And I was like,
it's the whole process.
Do you still live in Brooklyn? Are you still in Brooklyn?
No, actually, I moved to Jersey 3 years ago.
Okay.
And,
so we're neighbors.
But I've been back and forth between because I have to go back for business all the time. So I'm in Brooklyn, Jersey, Florida, PA, and PA. That's it. Brooklyn, Jersey, Florida, PA.
Okay.
Those are the four places I bounce around to, because we have a warehouse in PA where things are shipped out at. Paterson, New Jersey, we have a production facility where we make our snacks and all of that stuff there. And
someone asked about your products. Do you still do they still sell in grocery stores? Somebody said they saw them in Brooklyn somewhere.
There's one of our products is in Brooklyn at Fresh Health Food Emporium. That's on the corner of Atlantic and Nostrand, and they carry our cell support capsules only. That's the only thing that they carry. The brother that owns that place, He's from a family. They've been in Brooklyn, owning stores in Brooklyn, up and down Nostrand for years. Like
Yeah.
people from Brooklyn know those guys. And
So what do
you
you
know,
produce in your warehouse?
uh, BioMunch, which is a dehydrated snack. Oh shit!
You're
Uh-oh.
dying?
Not literally.
Your battery. Not literally, no.
Uh-oh, we might have actually lost him.
Oh.
Yeah, it might have.
Oh no.
That was the
See, I was
moment.
about to die. That's why I moved over.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well. Oh, he said, damn, my phone died.
Did he?
Crush, come back. If
Oh,
you
he
can,
did.
come back. Come back. We only got 20 minutes left, so Crush, if you know,
God,
if
that
you
went
can
by quick.
make it happen, please. Nefertiti,
Yeah.
what's up?
Spotlight
Shout out
says,
to everybody.
no!
Yeah. If you get up and running, man, come back, please.
Yes, definitely.
Wow, man. It's like
Such good conversation. And I have a lot more questions for him.
yeah, man.
Great conversation.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
So wait, how
What
did
a
you
guy.
find him?
I've been following him for years, you know,
Just
looking for, you know, more like-minded.
outlets. Mhm.
Yeah. And, you know, just trying to find, you know, people that were cooking and you know, in the same frame of mind that I was when I first started my journey. And I guess while we're waiting, maybe we'll just talk about that for a second on how we got here. You want to do that? Is that okay? Can we do that, Jess? I mean, we don't have to. Whatever you want to do, boss.
Well,
No,
I would
what?
like to thank everybody who's hanging out with us tonight.
Yes.
This has been such a good conversation. And
Absolutely.
I think for me, because I'm not alkaline and I'm not vegan, I just loved his last comment of like, we all have to get there when we get there, right? And baby steps. Sometimes it is just baby steps. Like, you know, I know that for you, it's kind of like all or nothing, but it takes time. It takes time. So sometimes it's like, maybe I'm just drinking more water. Maybe I'm just eating more fruit. Maybe I'm just working out more, sweating more, you know, what, like the baby steps to me, that's what goes a long way. And for me, it's all about consistency, right?
Mhm.
If I can consistently drink a gallon of water every day for X amount of time, like that's a win to me. And then if I could do whatever little baby step, next baby step, next baby step, but be consistent, to me, that's more important than taking the big leaps and bounds for me.
100%. I agree. I think that I just want everyone to just take a more proactive stance and like where they are today. Like do an audit, right? Do an audit on yourself and find out what you're eating, what you're doing, and you know, start to do the research. You have guys like Crush, you have guys like myself, you have guys like Yaki Awakening, that you know, and there are others. There are plenty of people today that are clearly, you know, about this alkaline journey. You know, our health warriors here have done a tremendous job in the last 2-3 months of helping to change their lives and everyone who is in our community. And, you know, we're seeing the results of, you know, just sharing that information and, you know, journeying together, right? Because that's really what has made it that much better for everyone, even myself this second time around. If everybody wasn't doing it, I don't know that I would have focused in on it, even though I know physically I wasn't 100%. He's back. Even though I wasn't 100%. It wasn't until we came together as a community and we're like, yo, this is what we doing.
It's 100%. I agree. It's much more helpful and it helps us stay on track when we can lean on our community for sure.
Thank you, Crush.
It's a different phone.
Thank you, Crush, for coming back. We appreciate it, man. We got 15 minutes left and we want to spend every minute of it with you. Okay. All right. Do we have any more questions, Jess, from the gang or on your mind?
So I want to pivot a little bit here with this conversation because number one, I want to ask you, because I know you said you were vegan, you had a store, you had a restaurant. What made you become an entrepreneur? Like, what did you do before you opened up this restaurant?
I lived in California for 10 years, and I was an auditor for payday cash advance loan centers. So there was, I worked for a company that owned they own thousands of these centers, but in California, I was responsible for California, had like 300 something centers. So I would travel up and down the coast, back and forth, sometimes over to Florida or Colorado or wherever they wanted to send me. And I would walk in with a suit and a briefcase and scare the crap out of the people there, tell them to stop everything, open the safe, show me everything. I would go through everything to make sure that this company was in compliance. I was basically working for the devil in a way, because these payday cash loans,
they're like long charts.
good.
They're like long charts.
Banana
Yeah.
cakes. I mean, I was young. I had no idea. I was like, oh, it's a job, and I can travel. You're gonna give me a card and rent a car, and I can just drive around and do what I want. But yeah, they were wreaking havoc on people's lives. But from there, I just couldn't. I just wasn't feeling anymore. I quit, and I started a health journey, trying to lose a couple of pounds by drinking juices. And I was drinking these juices, and I was losing this weight. I went to my barber, and my barber was like, yo, make me some juice. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't have like bottles or anything. He was like, figure it out. He was the barber for Cedric the Entertainer, and told Cedric, who was trying to lose weight, him and his wife were like, well, yeah, have him make us some. So he called me up. He was like, yeah, bring me like 9 bottles of the juice. I was like, bro, I don't know.
I don't even have one.
How am I supposed to do that?
Look, this is such a beautiful story. I love the story.
So I started filling bottles of juice and bringing them to him. And all of a sudden he said, no, I'm going to put a mini fridge here in the barbershop. Just come and fill it, and I'll just sell it to the customers and give it to them and give you your money. They opened another barbershop, and so I had 2. And then I was like, you know what? I want to, maybe see how I can do this. And that's when that's when Kelly told me, you know what? You should probably come to New York or come back east. Maybe we start something. I came back. I started making the juices. I would fill up a cooler, put it on the Fung Hua bus, drive to Boston, sling juice to people who took orders. And eventually we found a place in Brooklyn and was like, okay, let's rent this place. They had a full kitchen already. So I was like, all right, we're here to make juice, but this place has a kitchen, heat tables, stoves, everything, refrigerators. Let's do some small bites. Let's start that way. Then the small bites turned into more, and the menu started to grow. So now we're doing juices, producing juices and selling them to different stores in the area. We had up to 10 stores before we closed that we were servicing our juices with, and we were serving food at the restaurant for people when they came in. So literally I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't going to bed until 11 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. And on the 7th day, I was at Jetro shopping for supplies. 7 days a week. I didn't have a vacation or nothing for at least 3 years.
Wow.
On the third year, we got some employees, and I finally took a vacation. We took 1 week off, and the whole time I was away, we went to Barbados. The whole time I was away, I was watching cameras on the phone, trying to make sure everybody was doing what they're supposed to do. No one was stealing from the registers.
Okay.
Supplies.
Did he use agave? Did he use agave?
Hang on. I want to just put everything in perspective here for everybody, because I love this story. Being an entrepreneur is not easy, but I love how, number one, you believed in it, right? It seemed like it came easy is probably not a good word, but it came to you organically. It was like, figure it out.
It did.
Just figure this out.
Did. I had no idea what I was doing.
No idea what you were doing. And then you had the support of a community. You had the barber, you had Cedric, all this kind of just fell into your lap. And then you had
Wood Harris, like celebrities would come in, like, hey, yeah, I'll try some juice, sure. I was like, there might be something to this. There might be something to this.
So you manifested this somehow, but then the hard work came in. Right. So you still had to have that hustle and that grind, that 24/7 mentality, like 3 years of no vacation, 6 days a week, all of that. So how did you kind of maintain that grind, like that grit to just continue going? Because
and
obviously
your marriage.
Necessity. Well, we weren't married at the time. We were just, fiance, boyfriend and girlfriend who planned to get married sometime in the near future. And it wasn't always easy. Sometimes, we get into disagreements just because of the stress of, you know, what we were going through on a daily basis. She'd snap or I'd snap, and we'd be like, you know what, we don't really mean this. We just tired. Let's defuse. Let's go home. And so I would wake up early. I would open up, and then she would show up a couple of hours later. She would leave early, and I would close down. And then, you know, I would go back. So I tried to, you know, mainly cushion her from a lot of the hard labor. But, you know, conceptually, my wife was the one who was designing the websites, doing all the graphic design, designing the menus, the flyers, you know, designing the place, making it look nice, talking to the people. She gave consultations. So people would come in and like dump their problems on her. And, you know, it was a lot. We really were there for the community when people were thinking, you know, why would I spend $7 or $8 on a juice?
So how
like,
long ago
you guys
was
are here
this?
trying to get the white money. And we were like, nah, we're here because there's nothing healthy here to eat. And eventually that did catch on.
How long ago was this? And
This was
how old are you?
20, right now, I turned 51 January 27th.
Everybody loves your teeth, by the way. Beautiful teeth, beautiful teeth. Okay, so you're 51. How long ago was this whole story that you just told us?
We opened the restaurant in 2010, 2011, and we ran it until the end of 2015.
Beautiful.
And from 2015 through, you know, today, we've been building slowly online. When we were in Brooklyn, we were in a brownstone, and we had 2 floors. And on the first floor, we would throw these events where we would pack we would say, yeah, we're doing a cooking class. And like literally it was standing room only. We would have like as many people as we could fit into the first floor of this brownstone. And then we had racks set up where we would order things from like Vitacost. So all the alkaline stuff, Camel Puffs and spelt flour and all that. And we would have it like a little grocery store in the brownstone. And people would come in, they'd do a cooking class. Then they would buy up some grocery stuff.
That sounds
then,
like
you know,
so much
fun.
fun.
We did that.
That sounds like
we
so
did
much
that
fun.
like once a month.
That's cool.
So there's maybe some folks here that
first of all, there's people in here saying that they used to love the juice hugger. And a guy, our friend Guy said that he used to buy the juice hugger all the time.
Guy
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
that's my brother, man. Mm-hmm. That is my brother. Why? I don't know why I didn't put it together.
Guy was there all the time. He used to have meetings. He used to come and do meetings there and like just hang out.
He's in the building right now. Guy would say, "How come you did not connect me with Crush before?" Super G.
Gosh, Guy.
Super G, what is the problem, man? Oh my God. Oh wow. I didn't know that. Awesome.
We used to bump into each other over at a Kim's when she would throw stuff, you know, at her spot, Boozy Bites and you know, her thing that she did.
Okay, listen, we have to end this on a health note. Okay,
because she's a brick house asked the question that we answered before, so I want to answer it for her. Yes, he brushes his teeth. Yes, he uses toothpaste. No,
he does not use
deodorant.
He does not use deodorant.
Not use deodorant. And
neither do I.
Smells real good. Actually, he said he smells like nothing. That's what he said.
Like nothing. I don't even get sticky. Like you know.
See. But what you did say was very important, that you and your wife do in the morning. I think it's something I was just looking at actually on Amazon recently. I wanted to put it into my store, was the little steam units. That you can,
steam tent. What did you call it?
Like a steam tent. Sauna tent. Yes.
Sauna tent.
Yeah.
You get in it and you zip it up. There's a little chair inside and closes around it. And
you look really weird, but it's effective.
Well,
I literally, one of the things I do too is I wear a sauna suit
inside.
In there.
Oh. See,
inside there. So I'm literally in there 10, 15 minutes.
Going crazy.
Like soaked and I just
I think I'm going to feel claustrophobic anyway, but I think the suit's going to make me feel extra claustrophobic. I think I'm going to need to be nude in the tent. I'm just saying.
Thank you for that extra information, Chad. We need
I'm just saying, you know me, Mr. Transparent.
Especially when the weather is cold, it's so hot, it's hard to sweat. So I try to like get in there in 15, 20 minutes. I drink some hot ginger tea and I'm done. Yeah.
So we didn't touch on this, but this is important, I believe. What are your thoughts on fasting?
I love it. Fasting, you know, one of the things that I like to sometimes mention is that, you know, ever since we've been born, ever since we started eating solid food, the colon has never been completely empty. Ever since we started eating solid food, there's been
Mm-hmm.
something in our colon like all these years. However old you are, there's been something in your colon the whole time. It's never been completely empty. And if it were completely emptied, at least, a couple of times throughout your life, you will notice a huge change in your health. Because like, Dr. Sebi would always say, most of the illness starts there, starts in the colon or starts in the digestive system and kind of spreads out either on a cellular level or constricting your circulation or your digestion.
Yeah.
But so fasting, I think it's very important. It's very important. And I think it helps a lot of different aspects of people's lives that they may not notice, like brothers who may have, be suffering from ED, they can't get it up or what have you. They don't realize that the orifice is porous and it's filled with clogged with, mucus. And if you were to clean that out.
I'd have to tell you that we have a couple of health warriors that are in our group who have absolutely seen we call them the TP status. They have reached TP status. Okay.
And they weren't reaching TP status.
Yeah.
Prior.
Yeah, they are reaching TP. I'd have to say, I'm going to go on record because I am Mr. Transparent that the last 2 months for me have been, more so the last 30 days have been amazing for me in that department. I completely feel the difference, and I'm so thankful for Dr. Sebi giving me the guidelines.
Prior to?
Well, listen, I was struggling with prostatitis. I used to drink coffee, so my prostate was always enlarged. I had osteoarthritis, crush. I had sciatic nerve issues. I had Lyme disease issues, and literally
Coffee is tied to like three of those things.
And when I shut all that down, changed my life. Changed my life, Crush. Changed my life. So
caffeine in general, I used to drink green tea. That was one of the reasons why I used to have drinks. Because I would be drinking that green tea in the morning from Chinatown, the loose leaf, the strong stuff that I had.
Exactly. Not good. All right, so we got a couple of minutes. Okay. Someone said a trigger word in here.
Oh, I saw it. I was waiting for you.
My trigger word is turmeric. Turmeric is a trigger word for me.
Oh, it is. I saw it in here.
See, and you just bowed your head down. Turmeric is a trigger word for me. Crush, can you just touch on turmeric, please?
It is. Just go for ginger. That's what I say. Just go for ginger. Turmeric it's a lie. It's a lie. It's not doing. It's a lie. It's not a superfood. The whole. There was a turmeric that was good, and it was the drink turmeric when it first started. Kid Daniel that started that. He used to come to Juice Hugger. We used to compare notes. He used to invite me over to their warehouse where they made their turmeric, and the turmeric that he was getting was from volcanic ash in Hawaii. Now that doesn't really make it anything, but for the simple fact that it was coming from the volcanic ash in Hawaii, you could feel those minerals when you drank it. When Whole Foods bought his company and started manufacturing it, all that went out the window because then he didn't pasteurize.
Oh, okay.
But when he sold the company, they're going to sell it at Whole Foods. They have to pasteurize it, and they're doing HPP pasteurization, which is high pressure pasteurization, where they junk it in a tank like a scuba diver and give it the bends, where it comes up, all the molecules bounce around, which is basically heat, and then it kills all the pathogens in it, also the nutrients and minerals in it, and then now you drink it just a sweet drink with no well-being feeling that came from those minerals anymore. So
no go on the turmeric. Story. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, people.
Unfortunately, it's not doing what they promised.
Right. Okay, so one more question. Curry. Which is?
Curry is a polymer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a polymer. It's going to mess with your kidneys. One of the things that Dr. Sebi used to bring out, and I used to have to research everything he said because people would be like, "You're just following him. You don't research anything. You're puppeteering stuff." In India, it's kidney issues it's huge. Like the government had to get involved and open centers to treat people for their kidney disease, and the reason is because culturally they're eating polymers. They've got the curry, turmeric, paprika. All of those things you won't find those in nature. You're not going to find a paprika plant, the curry plant. Those things are made for flavors, and those flavors get into the kidneys and they mess you up. And so culturally, it's almost like they can't put the two are just not being put together. They're never going to stop using those seasonings and spices in Indian food. And I think that because of it, that problem is going to persist until something changes in that way.
Wow. Okay, I guess I got to throw this last one in. Spinach.
It gets mucusy and turns into, you know how you get the spinach in the bag? It gets that brown liquid in the bottom, and then it gets all slimy. Kale doesn't do that. Even though kale is a little bastardized at the moment, it would just turn, yellow. Right. It'll just lose it's not going to get all slimy and mushy into a mucus like spinach is. And spinach does that. It's going to do the same thing inside of you. It's not really worth anything.
Crush. I could sit here for about another hour, as you know, and just go down the whole list of things. People are like, "Is garlic good?"
He will have us here going through the whole list.
Yeah.
And
so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to answer these questions for the people later, and then I'm going to say, go to see Crush and ask him if I was right or wrong. That's what I'm just going to. That's how I'm going to do it from now on.
I'm here.
You've been a fascinating guest. It is amazing to sit and talk with someone who, is an OG in this and kind of, reaffirm, a lot of my thinking and, my journey and those who have joined me on this journey here as well. It's super helpful. This community is growing every day, and I love to see them continue to, reach out and pull people in. And I'm glad that you're here now so they can, go to you because you have herbs and tons of merchandise and products that, we can bring into the community as well. So I'm just happy and thankful that you said yes to coming on the show. And
well, you're doing important work. It's this was a beautiful conversation. I'll come back anytime you want. This is great. I really love this format and this forum. Look at you, got a lot of hundreds and loves. The community is beautiful. People got great questions, great comments. I'm just really grateful to
you live in Jersey. I live in Jersey. We should get together and let's just talk about alkaline stuff, man.
Be careful.
Sure.
be careful. Be careful.
Hey,
don't let him know where you live. Don't let him know where you live, okay?
If he's a friend of God,
I gotta be okay, right?
Yeah.
I gotta be.
Now, God for all day long. Chad,
there you go.
Be careful.
Look at that,
Chad. Okay. No, I'm
ain't
kidding.
That something?
But listen,
ain't that something?
I have a question for you. Have you ever thought?
Jess,
I know
it's
it's
11:02.
11:02. 1 second. Have you ever thought of bringing those cooking classes back? Because that sounds real. Like, number one, it sounds like fun, and teaching people through fun is the best way to teach people. And that's the best way for us to consume information is through fun. So just throwing that out there.
They were a lot of fun. There was a lot of folks that used to come in there. Akil Anise, Chef Bobo, Food for Negus. All these folks have been in my classes. They used to come and be like, wait a minute, we can make eggs out of chickpea. We could make and the next thing you know, folks are off, doing other stuff. Food for Negus, she's got a restaurant right now, a little cafe over there on Bergen Street. She's selling alkaline food. Folks move on and do other things. And it's a beautiful thing because then we get to kind of fan out. People have different perspectives going in the same direction.
Love it.
With the same.
Yes.
Crush. I just want to throw this out there. We're having this really amazing event on the 19th of March, which is following the 18th of March, which our dear brother D Nice is having an amazing event, CQ3 at the Apollo, right? Sold out show on that Saturday. But that Sunday, there's this other great event that we're doing in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Bank. It's kind of like it's on DeKalb and Nostrand, right on the corner. It used to be an old bank now.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So we're doing our show live, right? We have an amazing special guest that's joining us that day who might be in this room somewhere.
To be announced, but has not been announced.
He'll be joining us that Sunday. Let me give it away. I would really love for you to come and if you're available. March 19th is my event. The 18th is D Nice's event. It's sold out. Maybe we can find a way to get you in there. I don't know, but if not, definitely that Sunday. We would love to see you in the building.
I have so many more questions about I love that I asked you your question about your story and your journey as an entrepreneur, because it was super interesting and I loved it. And yeah, we would love to have you if you can come.
If you can come by, man.
I'll definitely check it out and make sure that
Yeah.
I got that free. See if we can make that
Okay.
happen.
I'll send you
That'd
the
be great.
information,
Yeah.
and I think it'd be really cool to have you in the house. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'd
All
love
right.
to.
Tell your wife we thank you for loaning you to us this evening.
Yeah, she sleeps
I'm
long
sure.
time.
I'm sure. I'm gonna send you a DM and exchange some numbers, and let's stay in touch. And thank you again. I really, really appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We
for coming
definitely
and
have to have
Thank
you back on. Everybody loves you. You gave so much. I mean, I'm sure you only gave us a couple of nuggets, relatively speaking, to all of your knowledge. So we definitely have to have you back at some point.
Definitely.
Well, thank you. I'll be glad to come back anytime.
Thank you so
Crush.
much.
Love and light, man.
Thank you.
All right. Later.
Love.
All right.
Peace.
Wow.
That was so good. So good. So much good information.
Man, shout out to D. Thank you, D,
Yes.
for
Yes.
sending us, an amazing group of, even our original group of people that we have here. Thank you for them. Thank you for, everybody who's tuned in tonight. Those that are new, we are really trying to do some amazing things here. We're not all health. We kind of dib and dab and everything, but the health is our priority here. It is important to our community.
We are health, right? Because
we
like to discuss mindset. Mindset is part of your health.
Yeah.
We like to talk about relationships.
The foundation.
Relationships.
Yeah, the foundation of our thing that we do here is definitely health, mental, spiritual, and physical. So, but we like to have a good time as well. And we do some music stuff too. And we do a lot of cool things.
And we have fun and we joke around and sometimes we just dance and
yeah, we have a good time. We
definitely have a good time.
If you guys are interested in our health challenge, you go to my link tree. You can download it for free on the health challenge. If you're interested in our event we're having on the 19th, you can go to the link tree, upcoming event. You can purchase tickets there. If you want to get deeper into what we do, you can come over to the Magic Garden, which is our subscription side. There also is a discount available for our event if you are a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, we can actually tell you who our special guest is on the 19th, although he is in the room tonight. But I'm not saying anything. Did I say that? I wasn't supposed to really say that. But he's somewhere. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. But yeah, you need to be there on the 19th. Shout out to everybody, all my health warriors. I love you all. Also, if you're interested in the group or in the health challenge, go to the Telegram group chat. We share a tremendous amount of recipes.
That group chat is lots of recipes, lots of information,
lots of love,
tons of love on there for sure.
A lot of encouraging information and people, and just the energy is amazing. And you can just go in there and just sit back and just watch. You don't have to say anything. But we'd love for you to come and introduce yourself, say hello,
thank you,
and be a part of this amazing
Diva to the Max
community.
Said another amazing show. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And on that note, I mean,
are you done?
Hey, whoa, hey. Hey, let them shoulders pop. Shout out to D Nice for doing a marathon.
Derek.
The marathon man tonight. He went on, he said, I'm gonna do 1 hour.
No.
And what does he do? 5. 6. I don't know. I stopped counting. Shout out to D.
He's amazing. We already know. We already know how I feel about him. He's amazing.
The marathon DJ, man. I don't know how he does it. And if I'm not mistaken, he hadn't even slept, because I woke up at 4:30 this morning and I kind of rolled over and he was on. He was like, good morning to the guys on the East and good night to y'all on the West. And I'm like, what is he doing up?
He's like, does he have insomnia? Does he have a problem sleeping? And he just likes to hang out?
Do you need a hug? Do you need
Why would he need a hug?
I don't know. Maybe
he just likes to bring joy to the people.
Is that what it is?
That's what I think it is.
I get it.
He just likes to bring joy to the people.
I get it. So do we.
Yes.
Shout out D. Shout out Ron. Shout out Cherie. Shout out 7 hours plus 5 hours last night. Look at him.
Wow.
Who's counting?
Wow.
7 hours. What are you doing? We gotta send him some sarsaparilla so he can
He
get that
doesn't need
iron
it.
up.
Apparently, he doesn't need it.
Man, if he would get that, he'd be, oh my God.
He'd be on for 9 hours.
Yeah. Scary. Well, I'm just gonna go somewhere else with that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Shout out El Boogs, Elise, Kimmy, nephew Bryson, I see you. Miss Pat, I see you. Kayana, I see you. Subtle 117, I see you. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. He said it, I didn't. He said it, I didn't. He said it. He said it, he said it. He said it, I didn't. He said it. He said it, I didn't. He said it.
You know, I'm very hot-blooded. I'm all Latina and all. Just saying.
Okay. This is not a matchmaking show tonight, okay?
Okay.
Let's keep it G.
Well,
let's keep it G.
I don't know.
Let's keep it G, y'all. Keep it G. Hey, let's keep it G, y'all. Keep it G. All right, I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna go and tuck myself in. It's snowing outside, and
Chad, this was a great one.
Oh, I'm glad you had a good time. Good time. I had a, you know me. I'm in fanboy mode right now.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Me too. I
hope all you guys are happy and you had a great time. And we'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow around 12:30 for the midday spla.
Did you do one today?
I did do one. I was in the car though. You know, it was like a light midday spla. But I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 for the midday spla. And then Wednesday, I'll see you again for the midday spla. And then once again, we return at 9 p.m. Wednesday evening. Coach Jess and I will be in the building with another special guest. Word. That's it. Love and light.
Good night.
Good night. Peace. Later, Jess.
Bye.